Kia ora koutou, and welcome to the latest episode of the Business Spotlight podcast. I'm Darryn Gray from Darryn Gray Consulting, and in conjunction with the Hutt Valley Chamber of Commerce, we're proud to bring you this exciting new podcast series aimed at shining a spotlight on the incredible businesses within our Hutt Valley community. Now, in each episode, we're chatting to one local Hutt Valley business, uncovering their unique stories, innovative practices, and the invaluable contributions they make to our region. Now, we do the podcast unedited, so we can get to meet the real people behind the business and have real conversation, albeit in a short time frame. So if you hear or see the odd mistake, just go with it and enjoy. So today, we're thrilled to introduce you to Vered Ohanna, coach and facilitator from Success Engineering. So sit back and relax, and let's dive into today's episode. So Vered, tell us a little bit about yourself. What is it you do, and what inspired you to start your business?
Sure. So first of all, thank you, Darryn, for having me here. So I am a business coach and a facilitator, and I work with small to medium businesses and help them in the business to grow the business while they grow themselves, sort of personal development. How did I get to coaching? It's actually something that I had for 15 years in the making, a dream that was there. And I started, so my background is project management. I'm actually an engineer with MBA, and I did project management for about 20 years and process improvements. And all along that time, I had this dream of I want to be a business coach. And basically, I started taking classes of coaching and how to be an NLP and master NLP, but I was too afraid. There was this one thing in my mind that I was too scared to have my own business. Yeah. And also it's part of the identity of, well, I'm an engineer. How can I be a coach? So this sort of stopped me for a long time. But then I worked before coming to New Zealand, I lived in Australia for about 10 years. Okay. And I was working there on a massive project. And that project was in such a negative work environment that it actually sucked the soul out of me. And one day I woke up, it was my 44th birthday. And my father passed away when he was 44. So for me, that was a special birthday that when I wake up, all of a sudden I was thinking to myself, what if this is it? What if that's the last day? And it started making me feel that, well, I don't want to be in a place that has such a negative work environment that really I'm not myself anymore. And I was working there at that point of time for about a year and a half. And then I decided that's it. I'm not going to stay here even one more day. And the thing was, I always knew what's coming up for me, what's next in my career. And at that point, I knew that I needed to leave, but I didn't know what comes next. And as soon as I submitted my resignation, I was freaking out. What have I done? I have no idea what's next for me. And, freaking out for a bit. And then I said, well, first of all, I need to get back to who I am and what I love to do. I love traveling. So I rented my place, used that money, and basically traveled a bit. I went to Peru. I was there for a bit. I went to Israel, which is where I'm originally from. I visit my family. I took a course there of facilitation. And then I went to Thailand, where I did a little bit of Muay Thai for 3 months to get back in the shape that I had beforehand. And basically through that time, I was thinking, what is it that I really want? That dream that is there. I took another coaching training that helped me actually map out my dream and the steps to get to there. And I knew that, well, being a coach is something that I wanted to do. And I worked through that fear of, well, I'm going to do that. So and while I was there in Thailand, I actually got a job opportunity, like a contract for 1 year with New Zealand Defence Force. And I said, wow, going to New Zealand, I always wanted that. That's another dream. Okay, I'm going to New Zealand. Yay. Got to New Zealand, absolutely loved it here, finished that year of contract. And I said, well, I still want to do that coaching. It's there. I'm taking steps. It doesn't have to be immediately, but that's where I'm going. So I opened my company, which was called Success Engineering. And At that point, I tried at first to get clients. I didn't know how to do that. I tried it for about 2 months and I was lost. So I said, I'm going to take another contract of project management so I don't have to worry about money. I took another contract, but in the meanwhile, I started volunteering with Business Mentors New Zealand. I did that, and all of a sudden I realized it's not just a dream, it's something that actually, that is what I love. As I was working with people, it was amazing when you see not only their business is successful, but it's also touching the person behind the business and making them grow. So with every person that I took, I said, okay, I'm going to start taking a little bit more clients. Now I'm going to do that. And I don't have to worry about the money, so I can take lower fees to start with. So I did that after hours while I was working. So working with people in Australia, so there are 2 hours difference. So I make use of that. When I finish work, they're still in their day work. And basically I started doing that. And I said to myself, when I'm going to finish that second contract that I had in project management, that is when I'm going to move to do full-time coaching. No matter how, I will find a way. And that's what I did. And that's now what I'm doing. Yay. So I am living the dream.
One of the things I'd like to ask about, because I think it's interesting, and I've just been working through this process myself. So we all know that the branding and business names and how we describe ourselves are really, really important. And they've often got an interesting story behind them. And you've got Success Engineering for yours. Tell us a little bit about the name and the tagline, and how did that come about?
Sure. So first of all, to me, to make the shift from what I did before, part of my identity was I am an engineer. And to shift to coaching, it was like, am I losing something? Am I no longer an engineer? And then I said to myself, well, actually not. But then I looked into what is it that I want to help business owners do? And I want to help them create success for themselves. And when I looked into that, I said, well, you can create success, you can build success, but you can actually engineer it. And when you engineer it, it's very, very calculated in a way that you do that. Everything has, intention behind that. Right. And when you build that, it's sort of engineering it. But also engineering is sort of the verb. You engineer the success of the people. And part of that, so one part is that engineering that takes you through a process that is very clear and very engineering-like. But the other side is bringing the NLP that I had, which is neuro-linguistic programming, which looks at people. Just if people don't understand, I give a short explanation. So the NLP is looking into our subconscious mind. Right. So if our mind, our conscious mind is like the computer with all the softwares and things that you already have in there, the subconscious mind is just like the internet. It has so much more resources that are available for us. You have, opportunities to bring out additional things that you didn't know that they were there. Right. And to me, this is that part that is sort of like a magic that you bring into that. So, and then you engineer your mind as well as your business. So to me, this is success engineering, and the tagline is engineering your success.
I love it. Now, one of the things so we've had a conversation, a couple of weeks ago as we were doing some planning for this. And one of the things we were talking about is, as small business owners, not only do we help other people work out what they value, but we spend a lot of time doing this for ourselves and focus on the values that we bring through our own business so that people can understand what's our point of difference compared to somebody else. I'd really love to hear more about a personal value that guides you in your business and how you go about it when you're helping other business owners.
Absolutely. So for me, the top thing is the value that I really value and bring to the business is passion. Because for me, it was something that took me 15 years to get to where my passion is. And now it became a mission of mine to help business owners to get there much faster. They don't need to wait for 15 years to go there. So that's where the mindset side of things, of working through limiting beliefs, like the one that I had of, well, I'm not a salesperson, so I cannot have a business. Right. You can be a business owner, even if you have limiting beliefs. So through working through that, that's one thing. But how do I bring the passion? It's not just my passion when I see other people, that I enjoy that, but it's helping them find that passion within themselves. And one of the first questions that I ask business owners that I work with is, what would you love? And it's not
Right.
what would you like to have, or what can you do, or what's the circumstances around you say that you're able to do, but what would you love? Forget about anything else. What would you love? And when you start getting into that question, it actually is a deep question that not a lot of people
Mm,
stop
mm,
to ask themselves.
yeah.
So when I actually ask them, some people are, oh, let me think about it. I don't know. But when you find out what is it that you're passionate about, when you get a decision into your business, basically you take them from a place of inspiration and not from fear. So to me, this is the guideline behind how I do everything. And then the great thing about it is that the result of that is when business grow and the person behind them grows as well, it's more than just the business. They feel that, they have passion in their life, which to me is amazing.
That's amazing and a mission. And I just want to acknowledge you for the passion that you're bringing to this. It's just incredible. And if people can catch that is amazing. One of the things that I'm curious about is that when business owners hear the term business coach or a coach, that brings up a lot of different things for a lot of different people. What do you think one of the misconceptions is out there about what you do?
Well, I think a lot of people actually don't really know what's a business coach. And
Oh,
some
okay.
think about it like, well, business coaching, it's probably like a coach in sports, or they come with a whistle,
Yeah.
tell you, give me 10 next sales, or give me this and do that. And that's not really what I do. So what I actually do is I work with the business owner to find the areas that they want to either improve in their business or take
Yeah.
to the next level. So just like when, athletes are going to a coach, it's not necessarily because they're not successful, but because they want someone to help them push through their limits that they have and take them really by the hand to go to the next level. So as I said, we do that by setting goals, having very much results-oriented sessions, but also connecting to the limiting beliefs that stop them from thinking of what is possible for them, and basically creating opportunities, because a lot of people think, well, I can do either this or that. And I show them they can do actually all of that rather than just this and that. And then when you connect that to what you love, you get to earn more money and love the life that you have.
Oh, I love it. And I'm hearing in there future focus, and I heard you say with. So it's not mentoring, eh? Coaching is quite different to mentoring.
So actually what I do is a combination, because I
Right.
am a coach and a mentor. So the difference between them is when you are a coach, you ask more questions to get the answer from the business owner or from the person that you're coaching. When
Yep.
you're mentoring, you're using also your experience, knowledge, to help the person to grow as well in a different way. So by mentoring them and supporting them, what I do is I combine the two together, and I ask questions that help them find the things within themselves, but also at the same time I bring other tools and knowledge and from my experience that I support them. So I do a mix of the two based on what they need.
Right. Okay. So what's one thing about your business that might surprise people, do you think?
Well, I think a lot of time people come to me when they think, I want that. So for example, people come, well, I want to take my business to the next level. What might surprise them is that I give them what they need. And that will give them what they wanted, but also what they need. And I can give you a quick example of a client that I had, which basically she came to me. She was basically a nurse in her previous life before COVID. And in COVID, she basically got pregnant and decided that after she took her break, that she don't want to come back to become a nurse. So she had her business, she opened her own business. And in that business, basically, it was sort of a home improvement. And part of that was, she was going to places and working with people in their homes, but basically she was on her own all the time. And when she came to me, she said, well, the business is successful. I want to take it to the next level. And as we start, looking into everything and asking the questions, the deep questions that sometimes people don't ask themselves.
Yeah.
You realize, and basically together we realize that work that she has, that business does not align with her values. because
Oh,
she is someone that cares about people and she loved being in an environment of people. And basically, she lost that. She didn't want to go to be a
wow.
nurse. So she thought this is the only possibility. So we explore what is possible for her. And then she realized that actually she likes something to help people. So she learned basically, as part of that, we came up with a plan of how she can change her business altogether. So basically shift
Wow.
from that business, have someone to run it for her. So she only has an oversight while she went and studied how to do massage therapy and open her own business that was completely different, which creates, still very good money coming in through
Yeah.
the business. She still was her own boss, but in a way that she actually loved what she did. So that's what I'm saying. Sometimes people are coming for one thing and they're getting another.
And they get another thing. But that's
Yes.
the powerful bit about coaching, isn't it? Is that sometimes you don't really understand what it is that you need versus what you want. That is so amazing. Hey, one of the things I want to check in with you is, because there's some interesting times out there at the moment, isn't there, for a whole lot of different people and a whole lot of different business at the moment. And I've been to a few things recently and they're going, look, there's some green shoots that are going to appear soon. I'm hoping that it's going to blossom, actually, to be really honest. But as a business coach, have you got any strategy or suggestions for those businesses that might actually be facing some challenging times right at this point in time?
Absolutely. So first of all, panic is not a strategy. Okay. Although a lot of people do that, that's
I tend to do it really well.
So what I normally tell people is that, well, the strategy is threefold: review, reconnect, and reinvent. So when you review, so you review your numbers, your processes, your the way that you work in your business. Because when it's good times, we just do things and it's fine. It doesn't have to be, the best possible way. But when it's tough times, you need to make sure that you are much more effective. You are, doing things in a better way. So I think this is an opportunity to review your processes, the way you do your business, and improve that. So that's one thing. The second thing is reconnect. So in times like that, it's really, really important to connect with, first of all, with old customers or past customers, and just reconnect with them, see how they are. If it's tough times for you, it might be tough times for them. Right. So when you're connecting with them, you might also find opportunities that are there. It's also connecting and reconnecting with your team, asking them even how are they doing, because again, tough times will impact them as well. Yeah. And of course, networking with people that you know might create opportunities that you were not aware of. So that's the reconnect. And reinvent is the third side of that, which is basically this is time to look at things differently. I believe that the universe is pointing to us in a tough time. This is your opportunity. It sort of whispers to us, this is something that you need to do about it. Nice. It's not always easy, but this is the place to look into of how to change things. And, with a little bit of a twist or a tweak to the way that you used to do things, this is where innovation comes to play. So these are the three layers. And one other thing is celebrate small wins, because even in tough times, when we celebrate small wins, it keeps our mind going on. Yes, I can make it. I can make it through that because I did this. I can do more. So that's
amazing. So review, reconnect, and reinvent.
Correct.
That is amazing. And I love the small wins, the celebrations. I have a little jar that sits on my desk, and every time I have a small win, I write it on my Post-it note. I stick it in my jar. So for those times that every now and again, when you're feeling a little bit kind of down in the dumps, I can break open the jar and reflect on those. That's amazing.
Absolutely.
Hey, one of the things we're just about at the end. So a couple of questions just as we start rounding off is that we're both in the Hutt Valley Chamber of Commerce. I joined fairly recently. Well, actually, not fairly recently. I joined at the beginning of the year. But I'm curious as to how does being in the chamber help you and your business?
Oh, a lot. I think, first of all, being part of the chamber is you're being kept in the loop. You're connected with other business owners that are at the Hutt. There are a lot of events that are happening that are very interesting. There is educational things. I'm actually considering to do one in the new year as well, like a workshop. But again, you can create collaborations with other business owners. You have really so much opportunities, and the people behind it are absolutely amazing. And it's such a pleasure working with them. So, yeah.
That's great. And we get to do stuff like this.
And we get to do that. Absolutely. What an amazing opportunity.
I know, it's great. It's great. So last question, or second to last question, but who's your ideal customer? And are there other services that you offer as well?
So my ideal customer, well, there are two types. There is one that is new business owner in the first years that they're just trying to establish themselves. They might have issues with self-confidence or, the imposter syndrome of how do I do that? Or taking the first step in the business to make it, to create more sustainable income coming through the business. Right. So that is one type of ideal clients. And the other one is businesses that are a little bit more established, but they're taking the business to the next level. And they are dealing more with areas of leadership. So for the first time, they have to lead people. And basically working through teams. How do they create that team environment that fits into what they want, that it's high performance? Yeah. And on top of that, I do also, especially with the bigger businesses, is facilitation of workshops. So my workshops are around leadership, team management, and basically also project management, which is big in my background, so I can support companies with that as well.
That's amazing, amazing. I'm not going to ask what you do in your spare time. Hey, so last question. If people are interested in making contact with you to potentially explore how you could support them, how do they do that?
Well, first of all, my website is www.successengineering.co.nz. They can find me on LinkedIn, Vered Ohanna, and they can send me private messages if they want. And of course, they can give me a call, and my phone number is 027-276-7498. And you have all the contact details also on the website.
Nice. Hey, this has been just a really fun conversation. And as I said before, I just want to acknowledge the energy and the passion that you've brought to this. It's just been amazing. But that does bring us to the end of this month's Hutt Valley Chamber of Commerce Business Spotlight podcast. So today, we have been talking with Vered Ohanna, coach and facilitator from Success Engineering, about how she goes about helping her clients engineer their success. I love that play on words. As Vered said, you can find out some more about what she does at www.successengineering.co.nz. Vered, thank you for giving us some insight into what you do as a coach and a facilitator at Success Engineering today. It's been an absolute pleasure to chat with you today. You've been listening to the Hutt Valley Chamber of Commerce Business Spotlight podcast. Thanks for joining us. And remember to like, share, and subscribe to the Chamber's streaming channel for more insight and more fascinating insights. And when you find this and you watch this, there's that nice little like button just underneath it as well. So feel free to press that. I'm your host, Darryn Gray from Darryn Gray Consulting, where I work with you to crack into new learning and unlock potential. Vered, you have an amazing day.
Oh, thank you so much, Darryn. And so do you. Have a great day.